Living with chronic pain is hard. I think most people can agree on that. Pain sucks. High pain levels can be incredibly scary, and the pain and fear combined can inspire urgent suicidal thoughts. It's a tough thing. There are a few ways my EDS physically and visibly manifests, like hypermobility, the fact that I use mobility aids, and most commonly my power chair. And I wear braces on and off because I can't really wear them all the time. But there are certain aspects that you'd never know unless I communicated them with you. So I wanted to share some of those things with you. Gravity is invisible. Pain is invisible. The combo of these for me are not very pleasant. I am fighting monsters all the time that nobody else can see. Whenever I lift anything with my arm extended, and I mean anything beyond like a pound or so, like it could be my phone. Let's experiment with my phone. I can feel my wrist turning in, and my elbow also start to turn in. It's very uncomfortable and scary because it feels on edge of dislocating every time. Using my fingers to lift my phone or to navigate the touch screen, it feels like my fingers are sliding off the joint, like there's mud holding the joints together, and so my fingers are just sliding off the edge. As I explain these things, reminder that like I'm trying to describe the fact that like when you see me holding my phone like this, you can't see what it feels like inside. You just see like a hand holding a phone. I'm trying to explain to you what is happening inside. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Trying to do something here. Trying to pull up my pants with my fingers hurts. Sometimes holding a glass of water hurts. And I particularly mean a glass, because glass tends to be heavier than plastic or other materials. Yeah, the weight typically is too much for the joints in my fingers or my wrists to handle. So again, as I say these things, I keep feeling like the urge to like explain, like, I'm technically capable of doing the things that I'm talking about, usually for an extremely short period of time, but I'm risking injury and I'm feeling really painful things while they're happening, and it's just something that a lot of people wouldn't notice about the way that I'm doing it. When I lie down without support, my knees dip into the pocket or bend backward, and it's very uncomfortable and painful. If you were to see me lying down, I'd probably just look really lazy to you, but I am actively trying to calm down my pain levels, usually in my lower back or in my leg muscles. And the way that looks is just either I'm lying flat or in the fetal position. It depends which pain I'm trying to alleviate at the time. So I'm an ambulatory wheelchair user, and sometimes I can walk, but for an extremely limited amount of time. Sometimes I will be using a cane, sometimes leg braces, and sometimes without any aids whatsoever. And then when that happens, when I'm on my feet, what people cannot see is how the joints in my feet all kind of collapse or crash downward, causing this sharp pain with every step. When I'm at rest, like in the way I'm sitting right now, I have a very average arch in my foot. But upon weight bearing, upon putting pressure on them, they appear flat. And it's really painful. I guess like the way I would try to make an analogy for it is if someone asks you to put all your body weight on your fingertips. Maybe some people can do that, but I feel like the average person cannot. And that's what it's like to put weight on my feet. People cannot see how I struggle and focus to keep my ankles and knees from giving out. There's a lot of internal tension and stress that's happening when I'm on my feet. I am trying with all intensity to make sure that the floor is level, that there are no cracks, that there are no inclines, declines that I'm unaware of, anything that's gonna potentially set me off balance. And I'm also concentrating really hard on keeping my muscles as tense as possible in my legs so that I have a chance of my joints not dislocating while I walk. When I walk, I feel like I'm stretching like a rubber band or a rubber leash that's around me from my starting point. And the further I get, or more accurately, the longer I'm on my feet, the more effort and strength I need to keep the leash from shooting me back. Or in a literal way, cause me to collapse, fall, injure myself, or faint. Sometimes I try to walk around with or without my cane in very small shops, or into a restaurant, as long as I can get a close parking space or be dropped off at the door, because my ability to be on my feet is so limited. But if I run into a situation where I'm stopped in place, such as having to wait in line, wait for a seat for whatever reason, I cannot do it without either collapsing or maybe having a seat on the floor. Though now I have a cane with a seat on the top, so that situation happens a lot less now. I usually have to keep pacing to try to keep the pressure off my legs as much as I can, because when I'm standing still, the pressure becomes too much and it triggers extremely high pain levels that I cannot handle. Because I have dysautonomia, in case you don't know what that is, well, let me try and do my best and give a little quick explanation. Alright, when I stand up, my blood doesn't. So, my blood kind of like drops really quickly to my feet, and I lose the blood to my head. My heart kind of starts to panic and starts to race at over 100 beats per minute. That is called tachycardia. And, trying to, pump blood back up to my head. And it's usually not successful. So that's when lightheadedness, dizziness, fainting spells come into play. So because of dysautonomia, the further I get, or the longer I'm up, or sometimes even if I get up too fast, sometimes if I'm triggered by hot temperatures, I get tachycardia, and sometimes I become dizzy or short of breath. So there's a lot of struggles that are happening internally when I am on my feet. I am pulling this rubber leash, metaphorically speaking, stretching it out as best as I can, and no one can see that. And this is particularly invisible because it causes my literal absence. My fatigue. It has caused me to sleep for 16 hours in a day. It's made me miss things. At minimum, just my day. I hate missing my day, my life, losing time out of my life because it feels like gravity is too heavy. The air is too thick. I'm being pulled into the ground and my eyes roll back in my head. I lose cognitive function. And then I'm trapped in this restless sleep. I can't participate in anything. I can't fulfill my responsibilities. I can't do any of the things that I love to do. I'm just out of the picture. It is both very strange and very informative to have the kind of disabilities that can be visible and invisible depending on a variety of things. When I use my power chair, I'm extremely visible as a disabled person. I'm pretty much the stereotypical image of what people think of when they think the word disabled. When I use my wheelchair in public, I get all these blatantly ableist things said to me. Some benevolent, some just cruel. I experience a lot of accessibility barriers and often feel pressured into risking triggering my symptoms or risking injury in order to make something accessible to me. When I use my cane, I think a lot of people perceive it as something temporary. I get a lot more "what happened?" questions and "get better soon" comments. When people ask me what happened, I just say, "I'm disabled, nothing special." Because I don't know what you want me to tell you. I can't stand up for long periods without my cane, but it's a long-winded explanation as you've seen in this video. And then I can do very small things without any aids, like step out of my car the 2 feet to pump gas into it, or walking around a small space that has safe flooring and plenty of places to sit for when I need to. And that is such an exhilarating yet terrifying experience. It feels strangely nice to blend in the world. There's nothing that makes me stand out or I don't get as many stares or inappropriate questions or comments. And that feels good. But now here's the part where I test if you were paying attention or not. It is painful every time I'm on my feet. So I am putting myself through pain every time that I do it. And it is not visible, and people don't really have a way to know. There's no signal for them to know when I've reached my limit. And so when I do reach my limit, like, it sends me into a panic, like, I need a seat, because I can't handle the pain anymore. And it sometimes makes me worried about people later denying my disability because they saw me standing or walking once. It makes me scared that they will deny me the accessibility that I need. It makes me scared of violence That happens a lot to people who are accused of faking their disabilities. And I guess I'm making this video to just put it out there that you never know what is going on in someone's body or what they are experiencing just by looking at them. Maybe you can take a good guess, but you'll never really know. So many of us are extremely good at camouflaging ourselves. Our pain, our fatigue, our various other symptoms. I think it's really rather presumptuous of people to think that they are capable of deciding whether or not someone is disabled just by looking at them or whatever evidence they believe they've collected. It's not only an ableist mission, but it is a mission with way too much risk. To take it upon oneself to try and make the judgment call on whether or not someone is really, truly disabled, there is way too much chance that when you decide they're faking, that you are wrong. And thus, you are just harassing a disabled person, which is not a cool thing to do. I don't know. Just saying. If you would like to share with me some symptoms or disabilities that you believe other people would never know about you unless you communicated them, please feel free to talk to me about it in the comments. I would love to hear from you, and I will see you eventually. Bye.